Juiced up Jason and tore up Tiffany decided to have the googly eyes for each other and totally ignore their dates, Ashley and Brent. While it wasn't a good look, I was here for every last minute of it.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about TV One's reality-based TV series, The One, season number 1, episode number 3.
But before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe. Please click that like button and send us your comments. So here we go.
Yeah, the episode begins with both Ashley and Brent in the dating house kitchen, I guess.
Yeah, and they're
They're
talking about the
talking.
night before
Right.
when they encountered Marcus, who had Oswald Bates tendencies, and the other dude who was weighed probably about 90 pounds soaking wet and who was drinking like a fish.
But while they were talking, Kurt and Tammy Franklin arrive on the set to the house and also bring a guest with them, Selena Johnson. Selena, after she gave us a little something in the way of a sample, musical sample, she got a chance to share her dating experience with both Ashley and Brent to give them a little bit of insight to help them as they go through this process of finding the one.
Right, and Selena said that, she was tired of the dating scene. She's been there, done that, made her mistakes, and this guy asked her for a date and she didn't get dressed up. She didn't do all that stuff she used to do before. She wanted to know quickly where his mind was. They went to some restaurant and she quickly cut to the chase. She asked the guy what he wanted while she was eating off his plate.
Right, and she also said that she's looking for XYZ, and if you can't give
Do
it to
it,
her,
keep us
okay,
stepping.
keep it pushing.
And the guys laughed at her and they've now been married for over 15 years.
Sometimes it happens
So
just like that.
sometimes when you just let go and be yourself, your authentic self, which I always talk about, good things happen.
Right, that situation worked out well for her, didn't
Ashley again is in the gym doing parkour with her dates, and Brent is going to
it? Trampoline kind of like place.
situation.
Yeah, it was a pretty good choice, I think, from Brent's end. But I'm getting tired seeing Ashley go work out with the fellas do the same thing.
But I found it curious about Brent going to somewhere where there's a trampoline because you know what happens with a woman and a trampoline. Things are just gonna bounce, more bounce for the ounce, and we dealing with Brent. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
I ain't saying nothing.
I appreciate you, dude.
Brett waiting at this, I guess, adult playground kind of
Trampoline
trampoline
joint.
joint, right? Waiting for his 2 dates for this week. The first one shows up is Jazzy, who is a 37-year-old radio personality.
And Tiffany is an administrative assistant.
Hmm. Do
So,
you think Brent was happy with what he saw?
yeah, Brent has a type.
Yeah, he does.
And his type showed up. Not so much Tiffany, but his type showed up.
Mm.
Anyway, it seemed like they were having a lot of fun. They played dodgeball, and it just seemed like a good time was had by all.
Meanwhile, Ashley's dates arrive. First was Jason,
And Jason is a cop. He actually liked
confident.
what she saw. He was confident, and she liked his muscles. Marcus showed up, and Marcus not so much. Marcus seemed to be sort of reserved a little bit, and he seemed a little nervous.
Right. And he would later admit that he was clearly not ready for the workout that he was about to partake
Yes,
of.
because Ashley seemed to like to put her men through the paces. The first exercise, what's his face, failed miserably.
Why is the name got what's his face? Damn. You ain't gonna respect the man enough to tell him his name? Why it gotta be what's his face?
The
What's
first
his face
thing,
has a name. His name is Marcus.
Marcus was stuck at the first go around. He was stuck like a cat stuck in the tree. She wasn't feeling that, and I understand why.
A couple of exercises, he was huffing and puffing a little bit, wasn't he?
Jason, he did his thing. He got further along than Marcus. So obviously the coach said that Jason won. They switched back to Brent with
Jazzy and
Jazzy
Tiffany.
and Tiffany. And he was trying to feel them out. Who are they? What they want?
Jazzy said that she was in her last serious relationship 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then Tiffany said it had been twice as long for her since she had her last serious relationship.
Right. And Tiffany asked Brent whether he can cook.
Yeah.
He said he won't starve, but he is not chef quality just yet. So they all decided that they're going to meet back at the house for the second date. So they hired a chef,
Mhm.
and all the usual suspects showed up with the exception of Jason. Jason was late. And I believe Marcus came in and he was dressed. He looked like he had some going on with him until he opened his mouth.
What Marcus said was that it was his job to focus on his partner and his partner's job to focus on him.
Well, everything she does should be all about him
And
and
he
his
should be
needs.
all about
And he should be
all about her and her needs.
And Jazzy challenged him with that. She said some women don't have time for that nonsense. It's good you're going to be focused, but intense focus on him maybe a little bit too much. He started arguing, and then Brent,
Redirected it, shall we say.
yes.
And meanwhile, was it by then Jason showed up?
Jason showed up late and he chugged his
Yes.
drink down and he ordered another one and another one and another one.
He was thirsty.
He sat down, he was lit.
Yeah, the room might have been spinning for him, huh?
And as a result, he started checking for Tiffany. And at one point, he looked at Tiffany and said, "Girl, I will cook for you." Meanwhile, his date Ashley is sitting near Tiffany, and Ashley is leaning over to Tiffany's side, like, "Hey,
Yeah,
remember me?"
her equilibrium was all messed up at that time, wasn't it?
Right.
Because she had had a few.
Because he was clearly flirting hard. And I'm wondering, this brother is sideways. And Brent is looking at him. Ashley looks like she's getting upset.
Well, she was because what he was doing was behaving inappropriately. He was certainly twisted
Yes, he
and juiced
was.
up.
Kurt and Tammy rolled in. Kurt pulled a strawberry and tried to show them how it's done. So he put a
Smooth, smooth.
strawberry in his mouth, and he and Tammy started kissing, eating the strawberry at the same time. Tiffany commented that that was hot. So Jason picks up a strawberry
Here we go.
and said, "Here it is, baby girl. Come
Come
here."
get it.
And by then, it was totally a wrap. It was a wrap from that point.
Ashley looked like she could have punched him in his throat and told him to get out.
Last week, he called to apologize for his behavior because he recognized that he drank too much and was probably out of hand. And here we have the second date, and Ashley's date, Jason, is also drinking like a fish.
Yeah, and the
And I
iron.
wonder where they're getting these dates from. Kirk told his wife Tammy in their confessional that the dates were a hot mess and they need to wrap this up as quickly as they possibly can. He
Mhm.
don't know what happened, but
Yeah, he said one of the things he said that was pretty funny was one of Jason's responses was sound like a lot of liquor was. Oh, oh, oh. I was like Kirk hitting on something, man.
he called Brent's dates in the room, and Brent had the feeling that not only Tiffany was not into him, but she avoided talking to him. Her focus was on something and someone else. And as it
Meanwhile,
relates to Jazzy,
hmm
he thought that Jazzy too wasn't feeling him. With both ladies not really feeling him 100%, he decided to choose Jazzy.
and didn't it look like Tiffany like just like got up and like kind of like stumbled maybe off
Yeah,
out of the set and out of the cut.
Tiffany was tore. Don't they know they can drink anytime? Because liquor is available, they can drink as much of it as they want.
Yeah, but the
Because
problem.
ordinarily, that won't be the case in their normal
Yeah, but
lives.
the problem with it is that once people start get drinking, that true serum, where people start acting out a little bit, you start seeing their true self.
For Ashley's dates, she had again Jason and Marcus, and none of them were on point. Thought last week she would, pass on both of them, but this week I think she should do a hard pass on both of them because none of these men are gonna add up to what she is actually looking for.
Well, I agree, but if he's got to pick one or the other, it can't be Jason because, like I said, she has an issue with, alcoholism in her family, and you can attract that to you.
Jason said that he was once married, but the marriage fell apart because he cheated on his wife. I think those are two big flags, and I would not consider him.
And he's old enough to know better.
Yes. When they asked Ashley who she's gonna choose, of course they ended the show, and I'm getting tired of these cliffhangers, these full cliffhangers. The show got to realize because they're new, nobody have time for that, and they need to come quick and hard and correct. So that's all we have. We want to thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please be safe out there.
Yeah, if y'all going to a new function with new people, don't drink so much.
You know
Sends
what
the
I mean?
wrong message. The wrong
Sends the wrong message.
representative shows up and does things that are just wrong.
You
Valuable
never
learning
know.
experience, huh?
You never know who's watching, and because you have liquor, that doesn't mean that you got you gotta
Partake of the
you
festive
gotta marinate
beverages.
you gotta
Yes.
marinate in it.
Yes.